There is a subtle but significant difference between an assumption and a belief. That difference is a feeling of certainty about something versus just acceptance of something without proof. When you feel certain, you believe that is the way it is. And once you have that belief, you take action. I see beliefs as the culmination of our life experiences, good and bad, and the assumptions we make based on those experiences. Beliefs shape the actions we take. If belief shapes your actions, what if you are taking action on beliefs that are misguided? For example, let's say I'm the project manager for a software program. We just received an email from the client that there was an error received by a user. I immediately believe that lead developer should be off the project because I know he wrote the code and now it's incorrect, resulting in this error. I say to myself, he is a bad lead developer and he should be removed from this project. We probably all agree that I just jumped to a very rash decision. So, how do I change that belief? I use the ladder of inference. First proposed by organizational psychologist Argyris, the ladder of inference is the thinking process your mind executes when you receive a piece of data. For example, the data could be a comment someone makes to you or something you have observed. This thinking process happens so quick you often don't realize it's occurring. By slowing down and understanding how your mind works, you may change the beliefs that generate action. At the bottom of the ladder are observable data. In our example, the observable data is there's a software program that was developed and a user reported an error. From there, I select data from what is observed. A user experienced an error. I then add meanings. There is a problem with our code and we have had these problems in the past. Then I make assumptions, often without considering them. I assume the code is wrong, not user error, and because I know the lead developer wrote this code, I assume he is to blame. I then draw conclusions based on my meanings and assumptions. I conclude that he is a bad lead developer. I then develop beliefs based on that conclusion. I believe that lead developer is not a good fit for this project. I then take actions based on what I believe. I remove the lead developer from the project. The strategy for this is to first think of a recent experience in which you took action that was based on a belief or beliefs. Then use the ladder of inference to break down each step of your thinking process before taking that action. At each step of the ladder, ask yourself, what are you thinking and why? Next, examine if the data you selected or the meanings you added, the assumptions you made, or the conclusions you drew led you to a misguided belief. Lastly, would you have taken a different action if you challenged that belief? The next time a comment is made to you or someone is late to your meeting, remember the ladder of inference. Challenge your beliefs before taking action. When I first became a leadership coach, I had some really misguided beliefs. As a new coach, I believed executives would not hire me for my coaching services. I believed it was all because I was new. I challenged that using the ladder of inference. The observable data at hand for me was I am a certified, accredited coach through the International Coach Federation, and I have at least 100 hours of coaching experience. The data I selected from that was I'm a new coach. The meaning I added to being a new coach was I'm new to this field and I should only coach non-executives. Unfortunately, that led me to the assumption that I assume an executive would never hire me. Once I made that assumption, I drew some conclusions, one of them being I'm not experienced enough to coach an executive. You can imagine that led me to a belief that I cannot coach executives, period. That belief made me take action. When I was out there looking for work and looking for clients, I didn't look for executives. I limited myself to anyone who was not an executive. This action I took to only look for non-executives was very limiting for me, especially as a coach. By challenging that assumption, I was able to see that that's not true at all. My experience does not play into whether or not I can be a good coach for an executive. I challenged that belief, and I'm happy to report that I'm now coaching executives and non-executives. My playing field just opened up wide for me, challenging that one belief. I hope you can do the same.